Hi, Sally here, and I thought I would do a little video about what I learned about the life-changing blender brushes by Picket Fence Studios. I took a class from Nichole Peterson at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, and it was a great class. She is an amazing teacher, and so I thought I would share what I learned in that class. So, this is the brush, one of the brushes. They come in many sizes and shapes, and that is what first appealed to me about them. I first saw them at 2018's Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, and so I bought this one, and then I liked this little skinny guy because I thought, that could get in little small crevices when, you want to get in somewhere little. So those were the only two I had. I'll leave a link in the description for the full set, and so you can see all the different sizes that they come in. So they are so soft, super soft, and I like them. They are made from plastic, and so they don't hold on to the ink like the foams do. And so they, you just use less ink that way. They're very dense. The bristles are very dense. There's a lot of bristles in there, and I haven't had any come out. So this one I haven't really used much. And then I also like that the head is very flexible. So you can bend it back. Ooh, I'm nervous to do it, but she bent it like all the way back in the class. But anyway, so they're flexible head, and the handle feels good in your hand, like it's ergonomic, and so I like that. So for actually inking, there's different ways you can hold it. So you can hold it like a toothbrush, she said, and that will give you the softest blend. Or you can hold up and pinch the head between your fingers and give it a little more pressure. And then if you really want, to put a lot of heavy ink down, then you put your thumb right on top like that. And so there's, different ways to hold it. It's really flexible. So if you're just holding back here, then you're going to get pretty light, because even as you're pushing down, that handle's going to bend up. So that will give your lightest pressure, and then if you want a little bit more, then you can hold it between, and then if you want a ton, you can do this. And she said, don't be afraid to really push down and let your bristles fray out like that. Then, that'll give you your most pressure there. As you can see with me doing that, that kind of separated the bristles. Maybe you can't see. Let's see if you can tell. That one's dark. Let's try the lighter one. You can see the bristles are a little bit frayed apart, but it still gives a nice blend. I've gotten most of the ink off of this, but so even when you push down, there's not going to be weird lines or anything like that. So that was the other thing that appealed to me, is that there won't be like the circle, like, when you start inking with the sponge blenders, a lot of times if you do it in the center, you're going to get a circle, and that's really hard to blend out. With this, you don't have those harsh lines. You can start from the edge and work your way in, which is what you need to do with the sponge blenders, but you can start right in the middle, and there won't be a big old circle in the middle. That was another thing that really appealed to me. So she did mention how many that you need. Like for me, I have all my foam blending. I have one foam blender for each color of my Distress Oxide. And so I thought, ooh, these are a lot more expensive than those little foam pads. But she said you really don't need a different one for each color. So if you have one for your blues and purples, and then one for your greens and yellows, or one for yellow and orange, and then one for red and orange. So you can choose. So really you only need 4 for, you know, main brushes for all your colors. So just think of the rainbow, so your darker purple and blue together, and then green and yellow, yellow and orange, and red and orange. And then, you know, of course you can have more than that, but, you know, you don't need a different brush for each color. Plus, these are washable. I have not washed these since I used them for the class. But I have gotten most of the ink out. So to clean them between colors, you know, you can just go on a other scrap paper and just you know, blend it off, and that will get it mostly clean. I'll show at the end of the video a little bit later how to clean them with soap and water. So I wanted to cut out these dies that I got. It is the, what's it called? That's a good question. Large Funky Festive. And I wanted some greens for these leaves. So I cut out some pieces of paper that will fit in my cute little sidekick, and thought I would just blend some greens and show you how these look. So I have, let's see, I think I'll use this that I had, I think this was for like a light blue ink, but it should work for the green. So I think I'm going to do Iced Spruce Distress Oxide and see how that looks. So you just rub around on there, and then you can tap off your excess a little bit on there so you don't get, you know, harsh, like little marks. So I think I'll just... So, as I said, you can hold back, and then that will give you a soft blend, like that. And then if you want more color, she said where it's darkest is where most of the ink is, and that's where it's wet. You want to blend while the ink is wet, otherwise it won't really blend as well. So I'm going to move up to just holding the head between my fingers, and I can get a little bit darker, and you just kind of work out from the middle towards the edges like that. And then if you want a real lot of ink, I'm gonna show you. You just push down on that head, and then you can move that ink a little bit easier. And of course you can get more ink on your brush. If you want another color on there, let's see what else would look pretty. I think, ooh, get that lid back on. Maybe some bundled sage would look pretty with that. Okay, so let's see. Let's just kind of see. It doesn't hold that much ink, so not much ink is coming off when I get it on another paper. Oh man, that was messy. So just, you know, tap in there. It's a felt pad, so you kind of got to get a little bit harder with it. So I'm going to start, actually I'm going to start at this end, the bottom. And just work my way off to the edge. And then work my way up. And I'm kind of pushing with this finger and then just holding it with, so I'm almost not pinching it, but I'm kind of pushing down on the top. So a way to, you know, get that nice ombre look is to overlap your colors. Oops. So if you have lost some of your spruce there, let's see, blend off onto my scrap. get some more of the ice spruce and just kind of go over the top. Get a little bit more in there. I'm going to kind of blend that more up. Let's see. There we go. Kind of blend that up. And then get off the excess and go back into my bundled sage and add a little bit more of that. And then you have that nice ombre look. So I want a color up there. Let's see. Let's add, let's see, what would old paper? Let's try old paper. Oops. And again, I'll start off the edge here. And work my way into those other areas that don't have much color. This is a pretty subtle color here. So just work my way into that. Which one's this? Iced spruce. And then to get that good, I'll wipe off the excess on there and then get some more of this iced spruce. Let's see, tap off the extra because I just want a real light blending going on here. And I'm pretty happy with that. So it's really subtle, which is what I want. Okay, I'm going to actually show you this other color combination I'm making because it's a lot easier to see on the camera. So I'm starting with Lucky Clover Distress Oxide. So I'm just going to get some ink on my brush, stamp off a little bit of extra, and I'm going to start in the middle because I want this to be my center color. So I'm kind of going to start off the edge and just get this center section, and you see what a beautiful blend these brushes give. So I want more ink, so I'm pushing harder. And like she said, you can just, let me show you. Let me just get in there and get those brushes all spread out. And that will cover a bigger area faster. So that is just such a lovely blend. I really like how these brushes work. So then I thought I would do some mowed lawn on the top. So I'm gonna brush off some of this extra ink onto my scrap paper. And you can see it doesn't add any extra color. Even though I used a different color on this brush, it doesn't add it onto your ink pad. So I'm going to tap off the extra. I'm going to start at the edge up here. And just, I'm not giving much pressure. And I'm just going to work my way down. And look how beautifully those blend. Oh, that looks so nice. I love these brushes. They feel so soft. And it's comfortable to hold on to, you know, like with those wooden handles. After a while, your hand can get tired if you're doing a lot of ink blending. So that looks just lovely. So I think I will get a little bit of that off and add in a little bit more Lucky Clover. Like I say, the best way to get those to mix is to just layer on top of each other. So I'll add back in some more of this Lucky Clover on top of the mowed lawn. And I like that. So I'll get off the extra and let's add some Twisted Citron to the bottom. Okay, get some ink, tap off the extra, and I'm going to start at this end. is a pretty blended background. So I like these brushes, and like I say, I used 6 colors all with the same brush, and it didn't contaminate my ink pads at all going back and forth. If you just, you know, just blend it off onto a scrap paper, and even that could look pretty. Here's my paper from the class, and I thought that even that looked pretty cool. So, you know, you can save your papers and use them for, you know, die cutting or backgrounds or whatever, and, you know, they could look very pretty. So I have one more to go, and I'll do that and show you what they look like die cut out. So I'll be back. Okay, here's how they turned out. I love this die. I like how it turned out. So these will be nice, and I was just going to put these on, make another die storage envelope and put these on there. So that is how you use the brushes and what they look like. You know, if you use them to cut things out, that's how they look. And of course you can get a more variegated look if you want. Like I could have done maybe red and green, and then these berries or pink or something, and then the top would have been, you know, because you can place your die cut where you want, you know, the color change to be. And so that is how that turned out. So let me take you to the sink and show you how to clean these brushes. Okay, so you just take your brushes to the sink, and you can just use water. And if you want to get them cleaner, you just take a bar of soap and just rub the soap on there. And then you can rub the two together like this. And that will get them cleaner. You know, if you're going to use this for blue, just have this as your dedicated blue brush. It might be better to have a little bit of staining on there, because then you know what one you want. What's what. I watched a video of Jennifer McGuire, and she is going to tie a little colored string or ribbon around the neck of her tools so she knows which is for what. Color-wise. There, that got most of it out, so you can see they clean up really nice. It didn't take too long. That blue took a little while, but, and there's still a little bit of color coming out, but it's pretty down in there. And like I say, if you just have your dedicated colors, then it should be fine. And then you just leave these to air dry, and you can see kind of, you know, they're kind of not as separated as they once were, but they still do a nice blend. I think maybe if you just kind of brush them out as they dry, they might look a little more separated. I'm gonna just let these air dry, and then I'll come back and show you if they kind of got more separated instead of having some parts that are stuck together more. So I'll let these dry and be back. Okay, I'm back, and my brushes are mostly dry, and I noticed I did not quite get all the ink out, so apparently it takes a while. I could have, you know, washed it for longer. It's mostly dry, so it's pretty much back in, you know, its normal shape. And, you know, it looks pretty good. So, you know, you don't need to always wash it. Just so you know, if you do, they take a while to dry. Like, this is still wet and it's been a few hours. So, yeah, I really like them. I think, you know, especially if you want a nice soft blend, then these would be a good option. And so like I said, I'll leave a link below to where you can buy these brushes. And I thank you for watching.